Welcome to Overcome Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to talk with Nathalia Melo, former Ms Olympia, coach, athlete, mom. Natalia has tremendous experience in the fitness industry, and when it comes to overcoming obstacles, she has a lot of stories to share with us. So let's get started. Welcome to Overcome Podcast, Nathalia Melo. Thank you very much for joining the show today. Thank you for taking this time on Sunday to participate on the show. Thank you.
No, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Been watching your journey to recovery. It's been very inspiring.
Oh,
so
thank you, my friend.
Inspiring
Thank
as well.
you. Thank you very much. And yesterday was a very interesting day, the Olympia, and now I'm talking with a former Olympia. So it's very timing to talk about all this because I'm always curious on the subject of overcoming, right? Because you had such an amazing career in the fitness industry, and you had to step back and completely change your brand and brought something amazing new to the industry. How was to really leave the competition scene and rebrand yourself and use everything that you learn to start helping a lot of people?
Holy crap, that is a very loaded question. It's a very good question. So I think that just for the people that might not know, I was one of the first IFBB Bikini pros. I turned pro in 2009, 2010 when when bikini was first launched. I was on the first ever Bikini Olympia. I got second there, got second on the second Olympia, and then I finally won on my third Olympia. And it's been amazing to watch the sport evolve. But I think that with evolution, there are some things that you like and others that you don't like. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that your life change as well, like different stages of life. And yeah. I'm the type of person that when I'm in, I'm all in. There is no, I don't half-ass anything. I always full-ass everything. Mm-hmm. So, and whenever I was competing and getting ready for shows, it was no different. It was like my life. I worked 2 other jobs, and at the time, me and my husband were doing long distance relationships. So my life, I didn't even have to take time out of my day to invest. Mm-hmm. By being physically in a relationship. I had a relationship. Yep. My husband was in Ireland and I was in Florida. So my life was work and get ready for shows. And I used to train about 5 hours a day and wow. Sometimes even 6 hours a day. And I was all in. And so whenever my husband and I start to kind of discuss and talk about having a family, getting married, at the time we were just dating. And then I was like, I think it's going to come to a time that I'm going to have to make a decision. Mm-hmm. I wasn't willing, because another thing that I saw a lot in the fitness industry, and this is not a dig, it's not I'm not pointing fingers. I am not kind of
criticizing. Yeah, just your opinion.
Criticizing. It's my opinion from what I have seen. I have seen a lot of people staying way past their due date.
Yep.
And holding on to something that was no longer is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yep. And like a lot of people becoming so obsessed with their bodies, which I think you do have to be obsessed with your body to compete in bodybuilding. But to the extent of sacrificing their health, and for women sacrificing the ability of potentially even having kids, because you are getting so lean, and especially now with bikini year round, being so lean, doing, I don't know, some girls are doing 12, 13 shows a year. I wasn't willing to jeopardize having a family just to look a certain way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. So, but in certain way, you were decided that once you achieve that goal of becoming an Olympia, we were going to retire, or you're going to change your approach to the fitness industry, or it was something that it just happened. You never really planned that.
I never planned. The reason why I decided to start competing was because I needed a goal. I needed I needed to work towards something. I was feeling, it was a stage of life that I was feeling very lost, and I needed something to give me a purpose. And competition did just that. And every single prep was challenging, but the day of the show, I knew that my work had been done and I was excited. And I remember on my last show, I knew in my heart that it was the last time that I was going to step on stage, because whenever I woke up, I didn't feel that same fire. I didn't feel that same purpose. So I just knew that that was going to be me done, and that I had other things that I wanted to do with my life, like start a family, like be able to go for dinner and have a few drinks with my friends. Because as I said, when I was competing, I was all or nothing. And I didn't have that mindset to have a balanced life, especially with my husband, who you have interviewed. Roger wasn't a professional athlete as well. And I would look at my lifestyle, it was borderline obsessive. And Roger, also being a high performing professional athlete, he had a lot more flexibility, and he had a much more balanced approach to life and professional athletes' life. So I think that was a big eye opener for me as well.
Interesting. So you felt like you were working way harder and way more restrictive than a professional rugby player. That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like my regiment was 100 times more strict and more like I don't intense
than Roger.
Than oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's just not sustainable to do that entire life. As you said, many people are overdue, but they build that image that they carry on, and if they don't have that image, they are completely lost. And sometimes it's because they have nothing else to offer, so that image is everything that they have, right? And with you was the opposite, because you were able to build something, I would say, even bigger than your previous image with everything that you're doing for the community and for your clients. A lot of your clients are regular people that are just trying to get back in shape and live a good life with balance. So a lot of those are actually overcoming a lot of obstacles. So tell about this other side of Nathalia that probably some people don't know.
So, and then whenever I decided to stop competing and everything, I had that transitional phase. And I knew that Roger and I were going to start a family at some point. And then I got pregnant. And I mean, in Brazil, you know how it is. I started going to the gym when I was 14 years old. So now I'm 36. So I've been going to the gym for 22 years. And whenever I got pregnant, I had no idea what to do. And that's when I kind of realized that there was a little bit of a gap in the market when it comes to coaching and educating and guiding pregnant women the right way. And that's and because I know that I have a big presence on social media, I knew that it was my moral responsibility to not only give advice because it worked for me, but give advice that was reliable, that it wasn't just, I think that this is right because it worked for me. No, I wanted to have, so I started to take a whole bunch of pre and postnatal coaching courses, and I really became incredibly passionate. And the funny thing is that even when I was Ms Olympia, I never coached a competitor ever.
Interesting.
And everybody was like, that's silly because you can make so much money. And I'm like, it's not about the money. I'm not going to do something that I'm not passionate about. And if it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. And then whenever I started to speak with more with moms and the overcoming that, and a lot of my clients are also former competitors who went through that same transition of life at around the same time as I did. And they felt the same way that I did, which is like, what the fuck do I do? Excuse my language. But it's like, what do I do? Because these women are used to kind of spending 3 hours in the gym. And now that time, it doesn't exist anymore. They are time starved.
Yeah.
So they were able to relate to me because I wasn't I had gone before them, and I had been able to find that balance between maintaining a physique that I was happy with and maintaining a healthy and balanced family life.
Yeah, and I
So
remember clearly that you actually did work out until you were really far on the pregnancy, right? I remember I've seen some of your videos with a huge belly of your first kid working out, and actually doing photo shoot, which was quite
oh yeah,
amazing. So it was really good. Also to break that stereotype, right? That photo shoot
yeah.
is only for when you are super fit. I think that was a great idea too.
Yeah, it's just a different stage of life, and I feel like women feel so it's a big over staying on the theme of the theme of the podcast. It's like it's a big challenge to overcome,
Hmm.
to accept the physical changes that your body is going through, to accept that your life is going to change significantly, and to overcome the acceptance that you are not going to have that much time, and it's not just about you now.
Hmm.
And I think that whenever you come to terms with that, and you realize that your life now is different, but different, life and your body are different, but different doesn't mean better or worse. It just
Right.
means different.
Yeah.
And people always associate the different with something that is worse. But I feel much more today, and that's something that I speak over and over again to my clients and to my audience. I feel much more confident in myself as a woman and as a businesswoman now than I did when I was an Olympia champion, considered the best body in the world.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. And probably you feel healthier today too.
Oh, 100%, a lot healthier. And it's just like, and I remember an advice that I got from Jamie Baird, who also was a competitor at my time, whenever I was moving to Ireland, and her husband both competed. And I asked her for an advice to how to maintain a relationship without sounding so self-absorbed. And then she's like, don't be asking your husband every single day how you look, if you're holding water and things like that. And I always took that advice with me. And I think that that was one of the things that kept my relationship healthy too, to not be so narcissistic.
Yeah, yeah. And in your case, it was interesting because you got pregnant of your first kid, and then came the second one right away.
Yes, that was a bit of
Surprise.
yes. I fell pregnant with my daughter when my son was 4.5 months. And that was interesting.
No, because the
But
reason why I'm not
now,
going to this direction is because I'm not sure, for example, that when you had the first one, you were starting to get back to lose weight because I remember you doing some before and after pictures, so it felt like you were already going to start working on your transformation back to the shape that it was, and then boom, you got pregnant again. So that
yes,
mess up with your head a little bit.
I think that here's the thing, and now I'm going to speak as an athlete. Women athlete, we're always so. For example, a male athlete, his wife gets pregnant, it doesn't affect his sponsorship. It doesn't affect his
Yep,
livelihood.
true.
A bodybuilder, his wife gets pregnant. Oh, that's cute, but he still shows up at the Olympia. He still does all the
Hmm.
things. But whenever your tool of work is your body, and you have sponsorships, and you have all these people who are looking at you and paying you, expecting things from you, and you have two babies back to back, and you have to have that phone call and be like, by the way, I'm pregnant again. There
Wow.
is always that feeling that you're like, holy crap, like now what? What do I do?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like from a business perspective, that was something, a lesson that I learned that is like, since the beginning of my career, and I know that we've had several conversations about this. Since the beginning of my career, I have always been big in portraying an image that is respectful.
Right.
And I've always been very outspoken about things, poses, pictures, things that I don't think that from a branding standpoint are smart. So I think that whenever I had two kids back to back, although I had that feeling deep down of like, oh crap, like what is going to happen, I knew that I had been able to build a personal brand that wasn't reliant just on my appearance.
Right. It was
a whole
it was more about, so it was about your appearance, but it was also about your knowledge.
My knowledge and me as a person, like putting, because people could relate. I have always been very real with everything about my life, and I try to stay that way, because everything, when you don't tell the truth, like I want to meet people whenever I'm out and about, and people be like, oh my goodness, you're just like you are on social media.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, I talk too much to try to be two people. The whole like online persona thing doesn't work for me because I talk too much.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So that was the only aspect that messed up with your mind a little bit because of the sponsorship. But as far as your self-confidence or anything else, you were just fine. I mean, you were like, okay, it was a surprise, but I know already how it is, and probably you handle even better because you already have the knowledge of what to do, right?
Yes, that is 100% correct. Like and I feel like my second pregnancy, I enjoyed the process a lot more because I kind of surrendered to the things I couldn't have. Like, you can't control that you're gonna gain weight during pregnancy. It is just a fact of pregnancy, and I fought with that the first time around because I wanted to be this badass pregnant mom and stuff like that. But the second time around, I was like, you know what? I'm creating a person. I was able to get back in shape after my first one. I'm sure I can do it again. And I just enjoyed the process. And that was a relief. And also because I knew that I had other things to bring to the table as well. As a professional, I knew I had other things to bring to the table. So I was much more at ease the second time around.
Yeah, yeah, and you kept yourself pretty busy during both times, because I remember, despite new kids and everything, you were always sharing information, you were always putting information out there, and then you built this whole mom league, which came out right after the second one, right?
Oh my God, yes. So Roger and I decided to move to Texas when our kids were 9 months and a year and a half. And I was also launching my signature program, the Mothership League. And whenever we moved here, we had no family help. We had nothing. We were literally starting from nothing. We were in an Airbnb with all these suitcases, 2 babies. And I was like, I'm going to launch my program right now. So we moved in June. My program launched in July, and Roger was working 12 to 13 hours a day. So basically my business was launched on my kids' nap time and overnight work.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, I think that this resilience and this, and you're probably going to agree with me as a father, that like having kids gives you a different purpose in life. It gives you that drive to accomplish things and to be able to give them a life that maybe we didn't have, and to experience things that we didn't get to experience. So that having the kids, I feel like it has lit a fire for me, and I'm sure that for you is the same.
Yeah, because this stop is not only about you anymore. It's much more about them. And
yes, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you launched that program in July, and did you get like immediate response from the audience, and immediately people were jumping in and signing up?
We had a waiting list of about 450 people, and that this is like another lesson that I kind of had from starting my own business, people a lot of times they confuse followers with customers. And this is, again, from the business side of things. And that's a mistake that I see a lot of influencers making, thinking that just because they have, I don't know, 300,000 followers, 1 million followers, that all those people are going to buy from you. And that couldn't be further away from the truth. So whenever I launched the Mothership League, it was about like a week and it was crickets. I'm like, holy crap, something's not working. So I kind of had to troubleshoot and try to figure out, okay, are we having any problems with the sales page itself? Are we having any problems with people being able to buy? And then after finding out what the problems were, the sales started coming in, and people started to understand what the program was about, that it wasn't just like a workout plan or anything like that. It was like, it's really a community. Like, we had our holiday virtual party happy hour yesterday. So I try to keep that community feel and that open space for women to talk about things that a lot of times are just a bit taboo to discuss in the open space, you know?
That's amazing.
So it's not just about, it's not just about the workouts. It's not just about like having yoga classes. We are a very comprehensive platform. I hired the best professionals to help me build this platform. I couldn't have done this all by myself. But I think that one of the biggest things for us is the community, because I found that in the parenting community, there is a lot of judgment. And I knew that I didn't want to create that kind of environment for the moms who decide to work with me. So yes, in the beginning, it was a bit of a bumpy road. And a lesson that I learned, understanding that followers don't mean buyers.
Right.
And customers. But I think that now we are close to 200 members in the Mothership League. And some of the members have been with us. They are with us for their third pregnancy.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, like, yes. So one of the ladies, she joined us right after she had her second child. And then she got pregnant again, and then she did the pregnancy plan, and she literally just found out that she's expecting her third child. Wow. And she's been with us all this time.
That's amazing. Now you are diversifying your portfolio, because it's not only about that platform, but you're also creating some transformations that I've seen, programs which are not totally related to the Mothers League, right? It's more a completely different program. Is that correct?
Yeah. So one thing that I realized is that, like, when it comes to, because the Mothership League is almost like a subscription-based kind of program, and people have been screwed over so many times by online programs and things like that, that I feel like I know that I can deliver good service. I know that me and my team are very helpful when it comes to nurturing our community. And like, I don't tolerate, like, my customer support person. That is a rule that we have. Nobody waits more than 24 hours for a response, period. I don't care what happens. Nobody waits. Like, customer support for me is a big part. So, I feel like people needed to experience my style of coaching and the methods that I offer before committing to something longer, and see not only what I can do, but what they can do. Because I feel like a lot of people don't believe, like, their biggest problem is not believing in themselves enough. So if I give them all the tools that I know that they need, and it's going to enable them to accomplish their goals, and they see how freaking amazing they are and how resilient they are and how disciplined they can be if they put their mind into something, they are going to start to see all the possibilities. Yep. So I feel like the challenge has only been, it's a very good starting point for people to see how much they can accomplish. And what's different about the transformation is that you say that is a bit different from the Mothership League. Yes, but I'm still catering to moms, because all my programs, they cater to breastfeeding moms. And I make all the modifications needed inside the program to moms who just had babies, so they are able to do it in a safe way.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. I thought that was open for every woman?
Oh well, every woman can do it, but because I'm known for as a coach who works primarily with moms. What is happening also a lot is like whenever women think about starting a family, before they start a family, they come to me and they're like, I want to start losing weight before I get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So by making myself known as a coach that works primarily with moms, whenever women even start thinking about getting fit, having a baby, they think of me because they know that I can help them get in shape before they get pregnant.
Interesting. Yeah, and I've seen some of the transformations that are some results are outstanding. And I was curious, with such outstanding results, did you ever receive the invitation or a question from a man saying, when are you going to have this program for men?
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. But again, I think that I started my programs and I started working primarily with moms because that is the demographic that I have felt passionate about working with. When I competed, I didn't coach competitors because it wasn't my passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that now is the same thing with working with men is I'm not passionate about it. It's not something that I would say that I'm an expert in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an expert at working with women. I'm an expert at working with women who want to have kids, women who are pregnant, and women who have had kids. Anything you ask me about this population, I can answer you.
Yeah.
And if I don't know how to answer, I'll know somebody who can and can help me. But and that's the thing. Like I don't want to like when you try to do all the things. You try to be a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And I'd rather be a master of that one population.
And this also show a lot of your integrity because some people would do just to make money, and you are always aligned with your integrity and what you are passionate about, which is very important. It also brings a lot of trust on what you do.
Oh, 100%. Like, I've made a commitment with myself that during my professional life, I will try to do some kind of educational course every quarter. I think that you can never know too much. You can always learn. I am a learner, a student by heart. And I feel like if people are trusting me with their hard-earned money, I need to give them what they deserve. Yeah. And, like I even look back sometimes at programming that I have done and I'm like, oh God, I almost want to go back to all these people and apologize, but it's part of growth, it's part of acknowledging that.
You didn't have at that time. Yeah, you just didn't have at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think that acknowledging that there is always room for growth is what makes people grow.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna I've told people that maybe I'm not the right coach for them because again, I'm very blunt, I'm very abrupt, and not abrupt, but I'm very direct with my style of coaching. And I know that I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
You're not gonna be able to please everyone anyway, so it's better to be transparent and original than try to massage everyone and not having the results that they actually need.
Exactly, 100%. And that's funny because a lot of the girls that come to me, they're like, I came to you because I like your no BS
policy
attitude.
Yeah, no BS
policy. Like what you see is what you get. And like, even whenever I'm doing my lives with my girls, I'm like, stop with the BS. You're going crazy. You're talking crazy talk. Stop it. So I'm always very open, very honest. And I think, and I've been in the fitness industry for like going on 11 years, 12 years. And I've tried to keep my work, the integrity of my work, intact because I'm in this for the long run. I'm in this not for a quick buck. I'm in this not just for 1 minute of fame. I want to help people. And not only now, but in the long term. I don't want somebody who's coached by me to, I don't know, a year down the line, have all these health issues because they have been trained in a way that is incorrect and it's unhealthy. This is a big thing for me. And, if it doesn't pay as well as if I advertised all this, I don't know, fancy quick fix kind of stuff, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
At least I can go to bed and sleep at
And it
night.
is a really tough industry because there are so many gurus out there. There are so many fitness industry celebrities, and to build the reputation based on trust, based on integrity, and based on results is something that takes a long time. And I think that over those 12 years, you were able to establish this foundation.
Yeah, yeah, and that's always been my goal. Even with the relationships that I have built over the years, I like to maintain all the relationships, even with like the supplement companies that have let me go. I still have a phenomenal relationship with most of the people who worked for the companies because, um, especially in the fitness industry, it is such a big but a small industry. Everybody knows everybody. That why are you gonna leave like throwing shit on the fan
Hmm.
and then hoping for the
Yeah.
best? I rather keep a amicable relationship with everybody, and just just be known for good work and for being a good person and for being a competent
Yeah.
coach. And that's one thing that even when I look at Instagram posts and stuff like that, and that we've discussed, they're over sexualized and all of that, and I'm like, earn your space and earn your reputation, not by tits and ass. Like, earn your reputation by doing good
Yeah.
work.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Now, going back to the main theme of overcoming, what do you think, based on the experience that you have now with this program for a woman, what do you think are some of the patterns that you observe over the
Oof.
years as far as overcoming? What they are really struggling about that you usually help them to overcome?
Oh my God, that is such a good question. Oof. I think that especially with moms, they want to hate their bodies into good shape. As in, like, there is so much negative self-talk, and there is so much like, oh, I look like crap. Oh my God, this is disgusting. And oh my God, like, this is not the way it was. And I'm appalled. And I'm like, you cannot hate your body into shape. You're only going to be able to change if you start to accept the things that you can change and try to change the things that you have the power to
Yeah.
change. And whenever that that shift happens, that's when the changes start to happen. And I feel like women especially, they're so hard on themselves, and there is such a big influence from social media on on
The perfect body.
like on the perfect body. And even like on a funny story, once a lady came to train with me, and she came with a magazine that I was on the cover. And then she's like, I want to look like her. And then I joked and I said, so do I, because I certainly don't look like her right now.
That's great.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I didn't look like the pictures on magazines year round, especially when I competed, because there was always that on and off season roller coaster. So I think that understanding that you can only compare yourself to yourself is half of the battle, and accepting the things that you can't change, and trying to work on the things that you do have the power to change. And I feel like sometimes women get so stuck on and obsessing over the things that, like, for example, for women who have had kids, they skin in their bellies. I mean, you can't fix the skin unless you go to a
Yeah,
surgery.
true.
But like, waking up every single day and complaining about that, not to mention the negative impact of that type of language on your children. Like, even in our house, we try to avoid any any type of language of like, oh, I'm on a diet, or oh, I look fat. I've said that a few times jokingly, even to Roger, and then I immediately took it back, and I kind of reminded myself that I don't want my kids to grow up in this type of environment. So I think that for women, the biggest pattern that I see is them being their worst enemies.
So it is true to say that a lot of your clients, a lot of people that you work with, the first work that you do is more mental, psychological. That even before touching the diet or the exercise program, right? Because they are in such a negative state of mind that they first have to shift completely to this positive way to see life and then move on.
100%. 100%. And, and that's why I share so many vulnerable pictures on my social media, like skin and like when I'm not ripped to shreds and, like in my life as a mom. I like to keep it real because I understand that as somebody who has a big platform on social media, if I lead by example by showing that there are flaws and there are things that might not be how they were before, but you can still accept them. My show women that it is okay.
Yeah.
So I think that my work with these women begin even before they become my clients. And my clients come to me when they start to understand that I'm going to be the coach who is going to be okay with them not being perfect.
Yeah, which is no one is perfect. So that's the first step to admit and to start moving on. And I really like the approach because you are one of the few that also post bad moments, not only the good moments. So you will post, as you said, vulnerable pictures or pictures that may not be on your best physique at that time, but is encouraging to always show that it's okay. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're not gonna be shredded all year long. That's not real and not healthy. So it's good that you are educating on that aspect as well.
No, yeah, it's always being a big thing, like being real, especially because my husband, if I'm not real, he'll call me out on my BS. He'll be like, look at me and be like, what are you doing? So, and that's one thing that I think it's very good, because when you are known to that extent on the fitness industry and you compete and you win an Olympia, it's very easy to let ego take over and think that you're like the hottest thing since sliced bread. And Roger has always been very good at keeping me grounded and keeping me who I am, and I'll forever be grateful for that. And I think that because he's always been so honest, it made me stay very honest as well. That has helped me attract the people who I want to work with and who want honesty and who want to work with somebody who doesn't hold back. So yeah.
So if there is anything that this Natalia of today, with all the level of maturity that you have, with the kids, with your program, with your new brand, would advise to the young Natalia when she was competing, that will be like, hey, you don't need to do this. There is anything that you would advise for that hungry Natalia that wanted to win the Olympia, or you think you did everything right for that time?
I don't regret anything that I have done, because I think that even the mistakes, they were lessons for me to become who I am today. I would say that the advice that I would give to young Natalia, it would be more to work on me as a brand earlier.
Okay.
Because I think that a big mistake that people make, especially in the competitive world, is to be a competitor, period. That's all they are. And I was that person for a long time as well. But the thing is that next year at the Olympia, somebody hotter, cooler, younger is going to come along. And then what do you have? Whenever you look at competing and all the places that you get to go as a successful competitor, use that as a platform to promote your stuff.
Yeah, you didn't do that. Looks like you didn't do that enough.
No, I feel like it could have been done better. And like, even with when it comes to sponsors, people become very reliant on income that it is from sponsors. But quite honest, like with the exception of one sponsor that I've had for 10 years, which is Better Bodies. Every other, most of the sponsors that I've had, they would be kind of like get tired of, not get tired, but like just find the hottest next thing and be like, send me a message and be like, oh, by the way, your contract is ending in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you're completely reliant on that income and you don't have something for yourself, then what's next?
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, that's a great advice. Use also that momentum that you are on the peak of your career to start building that brand and working on that.
Yeah, no, and like, again, I'm not saying that I did like that was all horrible what I did. Like, as soon as I won the Olympia, I was like, crap, I'm gonna take advantage of this and start to share my experience. So with winning the Olympia, I got to experience doing seminars in nearly 25 different countries.
But don't you think that you are way bigger today than you were when you won the Olympia? That's how I feel, at least.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, you were big, but I think that you have way more presence nowadays than you had when you won. Maybe because social media was not as big as well.
I feel like I have more balls now to say what I want to say and to stand up for the things that I believe in. Even when it comes to, again, like negotiating contracts. And I feel like a lot of people will, especially when it's no offense, a man-owned business, they will come like and talk to me like I'm just a bikini competitor and that's it, that I don't know anything else. So I feel like I have a lot more balls today to whenever people try to minimize my efforts, my knowledge, my experience as a businesswoman, I have a lot more balls should just come back and be like, no, bro, it doesn't work like that.
You are more empowered, and I think that this came with the growth of your platform and your brand. That's what I'm saying. Today, your brand is way stronger. Your brand today is way stronger than it was when you won the Olympia.
No, I would agree with that, and I think it's just because I have discovered who I am.
Yeah,
like as a person. So, and I'm very comfortable in who I am and not trying to accommodate and like be a certain way just because I have to be. No, I am the way that I am. And
but do you ever miss that spotlight and highlight and front cover magazine? Do you ever miss this, or you think it was good, but now you really don't care that much?
I would like to be in magazines again, but just to send a message that your career and your life is not over after you have kids. You wouldn't be so much for me, but it would be more to send a message to women that you can still accomplish things and you can still do things and you can still pursue your career and your dreams, even after you become a mom, because that is one of the biggest things that when I became pregnant and the first time, and I was traveling so much and I was doing so many cool things that it's like crap. Like there were times that I would be 2-3 different countries in the same weekend. I would wake up and I wouldn't even know in which country I was in. I would wake up and look at the hotel room and be like, hold on, where am I? And, like not many people can say that. So that was an amazing experience. And whenever I got pregnant, I was like, oh my God, all of that has been, quote unquote, taken from me. But it hadn't been taken. It was just opening doors to new experience. Yeah, so, and I came to understand that as time went by. But I still feel, from the messages that I received from women now on my social media, a lot of them come to me and they're like, oh, I'm scared of getting pregnant and having a baby and my body, like not being the same and my career going to the tank. And then I'm like, well, your body is not going to be the same, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be worse. Yeah. And that's why I like to put myself in positions where I know that women out there are struggling to think that it is possible for a woman who is a mom.
No, it's a very interesting point, and as you said, you became specialized on this area. You have firsthand experience on this, and I've seen the results. I follow you, and I've seen a lot of the results that I'm like, that's incredible. Because I lost 100 pounds myself, so I know the struggle that is to lose weight and mainly keep it down, which is really hard. Sometimes it's easier to lose, but to keep it down is harder.
Yeah.
And
you've done a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you. And your clients, they probably stay on the league and paying the subscriptions because it's not only about changing it, it's about keeping it and continue to evolve.
Yeah, no, 100%. That is a big part of like my philosophy, my methods is to make sure, like I've had clients that they came to me and they were like petrified of telling me that they liked wine. I'm like, girl, we're going to have wine together. Like, and like there, in the fitness industry for a long time, we had such extreme views that you kind of like, you are either this or you are this. You cannot be anything in between. And like, why can't you have a kale salad and a glass of wine?
Yeah.
And whenever you start to learn that more balanced and flexible approach, it's much easier for a woman and a mom to see herself doing that and sticking with it because she's like, okay, I can have a bite of my kids' chicken nuggets and eat a salad and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I just have to learn how to do it. So that is the whole purpose of what I've done. And again, because a lot of the ladies who come to me, they are former competitors and they're so used to those extremes of the competitive world that it is really life-changing for a lot of them to understand and learn that they can be in shape and can live in a body that they're happy and comfortable in a flexible and balanced manner.
Yeah, no, amazing, Nathalia. We could talk for hours and hours, but I will let you go. I know that Nico is already out there. I saw him. So thank you very much, Nathalia. Keep up the great work. I think the work that you do is outstanding. You bring a whole different dimension to the industry. I'm a fan, a friend, and I really appreciate everything you do.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for having me. And thanks for the great chat.
Absolutely, my friend. You take care.
Bye-bye.